Hand over the baby or I'll cut you both. The knife pressed against Megan Foster's throat. Blood ran down her neck. Her arms tightened around 5-month-old Noah, his tiny fingers gripping her shirt so hard his knuckles turned white. The man's eyes were empty. Dead. Nothing behind them but darkness. Megan looked down at Noah's face. Then she looked up at the monster standing over her. No. One word. One moment. One choice that would bring 800 bikers to their knees. But first, Megan had to survive the next 60 seconds. Before we continue, please subscribe and comment which city you're watching from. This story will change how you see courage forever. Megan Foster had learned to be invisible long before she turned 25. Not physically. She was still there standing behind the pharmacy counter at Walton's Drug on Route 33, counting pills and filling prescriptions. But she had mastered the art of being unseen, of making herself so small, so quiet, that people looked right through her like she was made of glass. It was 6:47 in the evening. Her shift had started at 6 that morning. 12 hours and 47 minutes of being nobody. Foster, you're short on the Hendricks prescription. Megan's hand paused on the pill bottle. She knew that voice. Karen Webb, the pharmacy manager, stood behind her with crossed arms and cold eyes. I counted twice. It's correct. Karen stepped closer. Are you arguing with me? No, ma'am, just stating a fact. Karen's lip curled. Facts. Right. Like the fact that you've been late 3 times this month. I was late once, by 4 minutes, because the bus broke down. Karen leaned in. Her breath smelled like coffee and contempt. Keep talking back, Foster. See where it gets you. Megan said nothing. She had learned that words were weapons she couldn't afford. Every response gave Karen more ammunition. Silence was her only shield. The pharmacy door chimed. An elderly man walked in, clutching a prescription slip in trembling hands. His eyes were red. His face was drawn. I need this filled, he said. His voice cracked. My wife, she's in hospice. They said she needs it tonight. Karen glanced at the prescription, then at the clock. We close in 10 minutes. Come back tomorrow. The old man's face crumpled. Tomorrow might be too late. Please. Policy is policy. Megan watched the exchange. Something twisted in her chest. She had seen this before. The way Karen treated people. The way she enjoyed having power over those who had none. I'll fill it, Megan said quietly. Karen turned. Excuse me, I'll stay late. Fill the prescription. It'll take 5 minutes. The old man looked at her with such gratitude that Megan had to look away. Karen's eyes narrowed. Fine, but you're not getting overtime. I know. Karen grabbed her purse and walked out without another word. The old man stayed watching Megan work. Thank you, he said. You didn't have to do that. Megan kept her eyes on the pills. Everyone deserves kindness, sir, especially now. The old man was quiet for a moment. What's your name? Megan. Megan. He nodded slowly. I'll remember that. When my wife asks who helped us tonight, I'll tell her it was Megan, the girl who stayed late when she didn't have to. Megan handed him the bag. Their fingers touched briefly. His hands were cold, trembling. Take care of her, Megan said. I will, until the very end. He left. Megan stood alone in the empty pharmacy, surrounded by fluorescent lights and the smell of antiseptic. She thought about the old man's wife, about endings, about all the people in the world suffering in silence while others walked right past them. Her mother called this strength. Megan called it survival. At 7:15, she locked up and started walking home. No car, couldn't afford one. The bus stopped running at 7, and she'd missed it staying late for the old man. The rain started halfway through her walk. Cold, hard, relentless. Megan didn't have an umbrella. She'd left hers at the bus stop 2 weeks ago. Couldn't afford to replace it. She pulled her thin jacket tighter and kept walking. Cars drove past, spraying dirty water across her jeans. Nobody stopped. Nobody even slowed down. One car did slow. A silver BMW. Megan's stomach dropped. The passenger window rolled down. A familiar face appeared. Chelsea Morgan. 4 years of high school, 4 years of being called foster failure and welfare queen. 4 years of whispers and laughter and cruelty that left scars no one could see. Megan kept walking. Megan, is that you? 4 more steps, 5, 6. Oh my God, you look terrible. Do you need a ride? Megan stopped. She didn't turn around. I'm fine. You're soaked. Come on, let me help. Megan finally turned. Chelsea was looking at her the same way people looked at stray dogs. Not with kindness. With pity. With the satisfaction of being the one holding the umbrella while someone else drowned. No, thank you. Chelsea's expression flickered. Fine. I was just trying to be nice. Some people don't know how to accept help. The window rolled up. The BMW drove away, spraying more water across Megan's shoes. Megan stood in the rain. Water ran down her face. Some of it was rain. Some of it wasn't. She kept walking. The gas station appeared through the sheets of rain. Rusty's Gas and Go. The letters on the sign flickered in the storm. Megan had $3.47 in her pocket. Enough for a candy bar. Enough for a few minutes somewhere dry. She pushed through the door. A bell jingled. The store was warm. It smelled like motor oil and coffee. An old man sat behind the counter watching a small television. He looked up when she entered. Rough night. You could say that. Megan walked toward the candy aisle. She was counting the change in her pocket when she heard it. A baby crying. Not a normal cry. A sharp, distressed cry that made something twist in her chest. She turned. A woman stood near the front counter. Long black hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Leather jacket covered in patches. She was holding a crying baby in one arm while digging frantically through a diaper bag with the other. Come on, come on! The woman's voice was desperate. Where is it? The baby screamed louder. Megan watched. The woman looked exhausted. Not just tired. Broken down exhausted. The kind that came from doing everything alone. The kind that came from sleepless nights and endless days and no one to help carry the weight. Megan recognized that look. She saw it in her own mirror every morning. She walked closer. Excuse me. Can I help? The woman looked up. Her eyes were red-rimmed, stressed dark circles underneath. She glanced at Megan's soaked clothes, her plain face. Then she looked at the patches on her own jacket. Megan followed her gaze. A howling wolf teeth bared. Curved letters spelling Iron Wolves MC. Everyone in town knew that name. Parents warned their children. People crossed the street. Doors locked when motorcycles drove past. But Megan didn't see a gang member. She saw a tired mother who needed help. I can hold the baby while you find what you're looking for, Megan offered. Or watch him if you need a minute. The woman stared at Megan. 10 seconds. 20. Something shifted in her expression. Surprise. Disbelief. And something else. Something like hope. Would you— I'm so sorry. I don't usually ask strangers, but my husband's out of town and my phone died, and I can't find his pacifier, and I haven't slept in 3 days, and— It's okay. Megan's voice was gentle. I've got time. The woman exhaled. Her whole body seemed to release tension. I'm Tara. Megan. And Tara handed over the baby carefully. He was warm, heavy. His crying slowed as Megan settled him against her shoulder. His name's Noah. He's 5 months old. Usually doesn't like strangers, but— Noah had stopped crying. He was looking up at Megan with wide brown eyes, his tiny fist gripping her wet collar. Hey there, little guy, Megan whispered. It's okay. You're okay. Noah made a gurgling sound. His fingers tightened on her shirt. He likes you. Tara's voice was thick with exhaustion and surprise. He never stops crying with strangers. Never. Megan didn't know what to say. She just held Noah closer, felt his warmth against her chest, breathed in his baby smell. This was what she was good at, taking care of others, making them feel safe. It was the one thing she never doubted about herself. His pacifier's probably in my saddlebag, Tara said. I just need to run out to my bike. 2 minutes, maybe 3. Take your time. Tara hesitated at the door. She looked back at Noah in Megan's arms. Something passed across her face. Trust. Gratitude. Relief. Thank you. Really. She pushed out into the rain. Megan bounced Noah gently. He made another gurgling sound and grabbed a strand of her wet hair. You're strong for such a little guy, Megan said softly. That grip could choke a bear. Noah smiled, a gummy, toothless smile that lit up his whole face. Something warm spread through Megan's chest, something she hadn't felt in a long time. She didn't notice the man who had entered the store. She didn't see him standing near the magazine rack. She didn't notice him watching her. But Eddie, the old clerk behind the counter, did. Eddie shifted uncomfortably, reached under the counter where he kept his shotgun. Something about that man wasn't right. The way he stood, the way he stared, the emptiness in his eyes. Eddie had seen a lot in his 73 years. He'd served in Vietnam. He'd worked this gas station for 40 years. He knew what danger looked like. That man was danger. Eddie's hand closed around the shotgun grip. He didn't pull it out. Not yet, just held it. Waited. The man took a step toward Megan. Megan finally looked up. Their eyes met. Everything in her body went cold. His eyes weren't empty. They were worse than empty. They were hungry. The kind of hunger that had nothing to do with food. She shifted Noah. Put herself between the man and the baby. Cute kid. His voice was rough, like gravel scraping against bone. Yours? His mother will be right back. The man nodded slowly. His eyes never left Noah. That's too bad. He took another step closer. Megan's heart pounded. She glanced toward the counter. Eddie was watching them, his face tense. Can I help you with something? Eddie's voice was sharp. Warning. The man didn't even look at him. Just admiring the baby. Well, admire from over there. You're making the lady uncomfortable. The man smiled. It was the worst smile Megan had ever seen. Empty. Cold. The smile of something that wore human skin but wasn't human underneath. I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. He moved closer, 5 feet away now. Megan could smell him. Cigarettes. Something sour underneath. Something rotten. What's his name? Megan didn't answer. The man's jaw tightened. I asked you a question. His mother will be back any second. You should go. The man laughed. It was the emptiest sound Megan had ever heard. I don't think so. He moved fast. His hand shot out and grabbed Megan's arm. Fingers dug into her flesh like iron clamps. And then she saw the knife. 6 inches of steel appearing in his other hand like magic. The blade caught the fluorescent light flashing silver. "Give me the kid." His face was inches from hers now. His eyes were empty. Dead, like looking into a void. "Give me the kid and nobody gets hurt." Eddie was reaching for his shotgun, but the man was too close to Megan. Any shot might hit her. Hit the baby. "Don't," the man said without turning around. "Try anything, old man, and I'll cut her throat before you clear the counter." Eddie's hand stopped. Megan's mind went blank. Every instinct screamed at her to let go, to give him what he wanted to survive. But she looked down at Noah. His eyes were wide open now. Not crying, not screaming, just looking up at her with complete trust. His tiny fingers gripped her shirt so hard his knuckles were white. He knew. Somehow this 5-month-old baby knew, and he was holding on, trusting her to protect him. Megan heard her father's voice. A memory from 10 years ago when she was 15. The day before his last deployment. The last time she ever saw him. The measure of a person isn't what they do when it's easy, Meg. It's what they do when it's impossible. She looked up at the monster with the knife. "No," and the word came out before she could stop it. The man's grip tightened. "What did you say?" "I said no." Her voice shook, but it didn't break. "You're not taking this baby." Something flickered in those empty eyes. Surprise, confusion. He wasn't used to resistance. His victims always gave up. Always. "You want to die for some stranger's kid?" Megan didn't answer. She just held Noah tighter. The man's face twisted. All pretense of humanity dropped away. He slashed. The knife caught her cheek. Pain exploded across her face. Blood sprayed hot and wet. Megan hunched over Noah, made her body a shield. "Give me the baby." He punched her. The blow snapped her head sideways. Stars exploded across her vision. She tasted blood. She didn't let go. Another punch. Her lips split open. Blood ran down her chin. She didn't let go. Last chance. The knife was at her throat now. She could feel the cold steel against her skin. "Hand over the baby, or I'll kill you both." Megan looked down at Noah. He was crying now, silent tears running down his tiny cheeks. But his fingers never loosened. His grip never wavered. "I'm sorry," she whispered to him. "I'm so sorry." She closed her eyes. "Hey!" The voice cut through the store like thunder. Megan's eyes snapped open. Tara stood in the doorway. Rain poured behind her. In her hand was a heavy chain, and her eyes were the eyes of a mother whose child was in danger. "Get away from my son." The man spun around. His knife hand moved toward Tara, but Tara was already moving. The chain whistled through the air, caught him across the forearm. The knife clattered to the floor. He screamed, grabbed his arm. Tara didn't stop. The chain came again, across his back, his legs, his shoulders. "You touch my baby." Her voice rose to a scream. "You threaten my son." The man stumbled backward, crashing into a display. Cans rained down around him. Megan scrambled away. Noah clutched against her chest. Blood poured down her face. Her vision was blurring, but she was moving. Getting Noah away, getting him safe. Eddie finally had his shotgun out. "Stay down, you son of a bitch! Stay down or I'll blow your head off!" The man looked around. Tara with her chain. Eddie with his shotgun. Megan with the baby backed against the far wall. He ran. Crashed through the back door. Disappeared into the rain. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Tara was running toward Megan. Her hands were shaking. Her face was white. "Oh God! Oh God! Are you okay? Is he okay? Is Noah okay? Megan couldn't answer. She was shaking too hard. The adrenaline was fading and the pain was crashing through her in waves. She looked down at Noah. He had stopped crying. He was looking up at her with those big brown eyes, and his fingers were still gripping her shirt. He's okay, Megan managed. He's okay. Tara pulled them both into her arms. Megan, Noah, all of them together. You didn't let go. Tara was sobbing. He had a knife to your throat and you didn't let go. I couldn't. Megan's voice cracked. I couldn't let him take Noah. I couldn't. Sirens wailed in the distance. Eddie was on the phone shouting at someone about sending every cop in the county. Tara pulled back, looked at Megan's face. The blood, the bruises already forming. What's your name? I need to know your name. Megan Foster. Tara grabbed her phone from her pocket, started dialing. What are you doing? Megan asked. Tara's eyes were fierce, burning. Calling my husband, calling the club. Her voice was steel. Calling everyone. She lifted the phone to her ear. Stone, it's me, code red, Rusty's Gas and Go on Route 33. She paused. Someone tried to take Noah. A girl saved him. I need everyone. Another pause. Yes. Everyone. Every chapter. Every rider. Now. She hung up. Megan stared at her. What did you just do? Tara looked at her with tears streaming down her face. I just called 800 bikers, and they're all coming for you. Megan didn't understand. Couldn't understand. She was just a girl from a small town who couldn't afford an umbrella. Nobody special. Nobody important. But in 20 minutes, she would learn the truth. She had just become the most protected person in the state. And everything was about to change. The rain kept falling. The sirens grew louder, and somewhere in the distance, the first rumble of motorcycle engines began to echo through the night. The sirens reached Rusty's Gas and Go within 7 minutes. Megan sat on the floor back against the wall, Noah still clutched against her chest. She couldn't stop shaking. The adrenaline had drained away, leaving nothing but cold emptiness and throbbing pain. Her face was on fire. The cut across her cheek pulsed with every heartbeat. Blood had soaked through her shirt mixed with the rain that still dripped from her hair. But Noah was calm. He had stopped crying. His tiny hand rested against her collarbone, fingers curled into her shirt. Every few seconds he would look up at her face, then settle back against her chest. Like he knew. Like he understood that she had kept him safe. 2 police cruisers screeched into the parking lot. Officers burst through the door, guns drawn. Everyone stay where you are. Eddie raised his hands, shotgun now on the counter. Easy, boys. The bad guy already ran. Went out the back about 10 minutes ago. One officer approached Megan. Young guy, maybe 25. His face went pale when he saw the blood. Ma'am, are you hurt? We need to get you medical attention. I'm fine. Ma'am, you're bleeding. That's a serious wound. I said I'm fine. Megan's voice cracked. Just find him. Find the man who did this. Tara appeared beside her. She saved my son. That bastard had a knife to her throat and she didn't let go. The officer's eyes widened. He looked at Megan differently now, not just as a victim, as something else. What's your name, ma'am? Megan Foster. He wrote it down. Can you describe the attacker? Megan closed her eyes. She could still see those empty eyes, still feel the cold steel against her throat. White male? Maybe 40. Gray hoodie. Dead eyes. She swallowed hard. His eyes were the worst part. like there was nothing behind them. The officer nodded. "We've already got units searching the area. We'll find him." But Megan heard something in his voice. Doubt. The rain was heavy. The man had a head start. Finding him would be like finding a needle in a haystack. An ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher. "I don't need that," Megan said. "I can walk." "Ma'am, please. You need to be examined." Tara knelt beside her. "Megan, let them help you. Please." Megan looked at her, then at Noah. The baby was falling asleep against her chest thumb in his mouth, completely at peace. "Okay." Megan's voice was barely a whisper. "But Noah stays with me. I'm not letting go until his mother takes him." Tara's eyes filled with tears. "He's safe now. Because of you." The paramedics helped Megan to her feet. She swayed and strong hands caught her. "Easy. We've got you." They guided her toward the ambulance. Tara walked beside her, never more than arm's reach away. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Red and blue lights painted everything in strobing colors. More police cars had arrived. Officers were setting up a perimeter, talking into radios. And then Megan heard it. A rumble. Low and deep, growing louder. She looked up. Headlights appeared through the rain. Not car headlights. Lower. Wider apart. Motorcycles. The first one came around the corner, then another, then 10 more, then 20. They kept coming, 40, 50, 60 motorcycles' engines roaring like thunder, filling the parking lot, the street blocking traffic in both directions. Megan stared. She had never seen anything like it. Men and women climbed off their bikes, all wearing black leather, all wearing the same patch on their backs. The howling wolf with bared teeth. Iron Wolves, MC. They formed a circle around the ambulance, a wall of leather and chrome and hard faces. Tara stepped forward. Her voice carried over the rumble of idling engines. "Where's Stone?" The crowd parted. A man walked through. Massive. 6'4" at least, with shoulders like a mountain. Arms covered in tattoos. Gray beard, close-cropped hair, eyes that had seen things most people couldn't imagine. But those hard eyes were wet with tears. He saw Tara first. Then Noah in Megan's arms. Then the blood on Megan's face. He crossed the distance in 3 strides and pulled Tara into his arms. "Are you okay? Is Noah okay?" "We're okay." Tara was crying now. "Because of her." Stone turned, looked at Megan. Their eyes met. Megan saw something shift in his face. The hard mask cracked. Underneath was raw emotion, gratitude, awe. Something like reverence. He walked toward her slowly. The crowd was silent. Even the police officers had stopped moving, watching this giant of a man approach the bloody, battered girl holding his son. Stone stopped 3 feet away. His eyes moved over her face. The cut. The bruises. The blood. "You protected my son." It wasn't a question. "Yes." "He had a knife to your throat." "Yes." "And you didn't let go." Megan's voice cracked. "I couldn't. I looked at Noah's face and I couldn't let that monster take him. I couldn't." Stone stared at her for a long moment. Then he dropped to his knees. The president of the Iron Wolves. The most feared man in 3 counties, kneeling in a gas station parking lot in front of a 25-year-old girl who couldn't afford an umbrella. "Thank you." His voice broke. "Thank you for saving my boy." Megan didn't know what to do. Nobody had ever knelt before her. Nobody had ever looked at her like she mattered. I did what anyone would do. No. Stone's voice was fierce. No, you didn't. Most people would have given him up, would have saved themselves. You didn't. He looked up at her with tears streaming down his weathered face. The Iron Wolves don't forget that. Ever. He stood, turned to face the crowd. Call every chapter. His voice carried like thunder. Every member. Clubhouse. Tonight. He turned back to Megan. You're coming with us. Megan blinked. What? You saved my son. You bled for him. You're under our protection now. He paused. If you want to be. Megan looked around, at the bikers, at the police, at Tara, who was nodding with tears in her eyes. I need to call my mom. Stone nodded. Call her. Tell her she's invited too. Megan's hands were shaking as she pulled out her phone. She dialed her mother's number. It rang twice. Megan. Her mother's voice was worried. Honey, are you okay? You should have been home an hour ago. Mom. Megan's voice cracked. Mom, something happened. What? What's wrong? Are you hurt? I'm okay. She looked at the blood on her shirt, at the bikers surrounding her at Stone, watching her with those fierce, grateful eyes. I'm okay, Mom, but I need you to do something for me. Anything. What is it? Megan took a deep breath. I need you to come to the Iron Wolves clubhouse tonight. Silence. The what? Megan almost laughed. I know how it sounds, but Mom, I promise everything is going to be different now. I'll explain when you get here. Megan Foster, you tell me right now what's going on. I saved a baby, Mom. Megan's eyes filled with tears. A man tried to take him and I didn't let go. And now these people, they want to help us. Her mother was quiet for a long moment. Are you safe? Yeah, Mom, I'm safe. Then I'll be there. Her mother's voice was thick with emotion. I don't understand any of this, but I'll be there. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. I'm coming. Megan hung up. Her hands were still shaking. A paramedic appeared beside her. Ma'am, we really need to look at that wound. Stone stepped forward. Our doc is at the clubhouse. She'll take care of her. The paramedic hesitated. Sir, she needs professional medical attention. Our doc was an Army trauma surgeon for 15 years. She's more professional than anyone you've got. The paramedic looked at Megan. It's your choice, ma'am. Megan looked at Stone, at Tara, at Noah, still sleeping peacefully against her chest. I'll go with them. The paramedic nodded slowly. Okay. But if that cut isn't stitched properly, it'll scar. Some scars are worth it, Megan said quietly. 20 minutes later, Megan was on the back of Tara's motorcycle holding tight as they rode through the night. Noah was in a car seat in the truck that followed, driven by one of the club members. The rain had stopped. The clouds were breaking apart, revealing stars. Megan had never been on a motorcycle before. The wind in her face, the rumble beneath her, the sense of freedom, it was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. She could see the other bikes ahead and behind. Dozens of them, moving together like a river of chrome and leather. How are you doing back there? Tara called over her shoulder. I don't know, Megan admitted. I don't know anything anymore. Tara laughed. It was a real laugh, warm despite everything that had happened. That's how it starts. Everything you thought you knew gets thrown out the window, and then you find out who you really are. Who am I? Someone brave. Tara's voice was serious now. Someone who doesn't give up. Someone who fights for people they don't even know. Megan thought about that. She had spent 25 years trying to be invisible, trying not to be seen, trying not to matter. And in one moment, one choice, one word, everything had changed. No. That single word had changed her entire life. The clubhouse appeared ahead, a long building with dark walls. The parking lot was already filling with motorcycles, hundreds of them. Megan's heart pounded. Tara. How many people are here? Right now, maybe 500. By the end of the night, probably 800. 800 people for me. Tara pulled into a spot near the front door and cut the engine. Megan, you saved the president's son. You saved Stone's boy. She turned to face Megan. These people would die for Stone. And now they'll die for you too. Megan couldn't process that. It was too much. Too big. Too impossible. The front door of the clubhouse opened. A woman stepped out. Silver hair, sharp eyes, movements that said she had never backed down from anything in her life. This her? The woman asked. This is Megan. Tara helped her off the bike. Megan, this is Elena, Stone's mother. Elena walked straight up to Megan. She was small, barely 5 feet tall, but she moved like a queen. She took Megan's face in her hands, studied the cut, the bruises, the blood. You did this for my grandson. Yes, ma'am. Elena's eyes filled with tears. She pulled Megan into a hug so tight, Megan couldn't breathe. Thank you, Elena whispered. Thank you for saving our boy. Megan stood frozen. She couldn't remember the last time anyone had hugged her like this, like she was precious, like she mattered. Elena pulled back, wiped her eyes. Let's get you inside. Get you cleaned up. Jenny's waiting. Jenny, our doc, former Army surgeon. She'll fix that cut so it won't scar. Megan touched her cheek. The blood had dried now, pulling at her skin. Some scars are worth it. Elena smiled. Maybe. But let's see if we can avoid this one. Inside the clubhouse was packed. Bodies everywhere. The smell of leather and beer and something cooking in the back. Every eye turned to Megan as she walked in. The crowd parted. Whispers rippled through the room. That's her. That's the girl who saved Noah. She fought off a kidnapper by herself. Stone said she wouldn't let go, even with a knife at her throat. Megan kept her eyes forward. She wasn't used to being seen, wasn't used to people looking at her with anything other than pity or contempt. But these people weren't looking at her with pity. They were looking at her with respect. Elena led her to a back room. Clean, simple. A couch, a table, medical supplies laid out neatly. A woman in her 50s stood up when they entered. Short gray hair, steady hands, eyes that had seen a lot of blood in their time. Sit down, Jenny said. Let me look at you. Megan sat. Jenny tilted her face toward the light, examining the cut. Clean slice, sharp knife. He knew what he was doing. What do you mean? Jenny's jaw tightened. This wasn't random, honey. This cut was meant to scare you into compliance. Hurt you without killing you. This man has done this before. Megan's blood went cold. Done this before? Jenny nodded. She started cleaning the wound, her touch gentle, despite her rough appearance. I've seen cuts like this on trafficking victims. It's a technique. Hurt them just enough to break their will. Trafficking. The word hung in the air like poison. Jenny looked at her. You didn't know. Know what? The door opened. Stone walked in with another man. Older, weathered badge clipped to his belt. Megan. Stone said, This is Detective Frank Reeves. He's worked missing children cases for 30 years. He needs to talk to you. Detective Reeves stepped forward. His face was grim. Miss Foster, the man who attacked you tonight. We've identified him. Megan's hands started shaking. Who is he? His name is Victor Marsh. Reeves paused. He's wanted in 6 states for kidnapping. He's part of a child trafficking ring that's been operating for over a decade. The room was silent. Child trafficking, Megan's voice came out strangled. 4 babies have been taken in the past 3 years. All of them fit a profile. All of them disappeared without a trace. Reeves's voice was heavy. If you had given Noah to him tonight, we might never have seen that baby again. Megan felt sick. She thought of Noah's face, his trusting eyes, his tiny fingers gripping her shirt. Oh, God. You stopped him. Reeves stepped closer. You stopped one of the most wanted child traffickers in the country. Do you understand that? Megan shook her head. I couldn't let him take Noah. I didn't know. You didn't need to know. Stone's voice was fierce. You saw a monster trying to take a child and you said no. That's all that matters. Jenny finished cleaning the wound and picked up a needle. This is going to sting. Megan barely felt it. Her mind was spinning. Child trafficking. 6 states. 4 babies missing. The other babies, she said suddenly. The 4 that were taken. Were they ever found? Reeves's face darkened. No. What happened to them? Silence. Detective, what happened to them? Reeves looked at Stone. Stone nodded. We believe they were sold. Overseas buyers. Wealthy families who don't ask questions. Reeves's voice was barely controlled fury. Once they leave the country, the chances of recovery are almost 0. Megan thought she might throw up. 4 babies, sold like merchandise, gone forever. And Noah almost became the 5th. But there's something else. Reeves pulled out his phone. Marsh didn't work alone. He had a partner, someone who identified targets, tracked vulnerable mothers, told him where they'd be. He showed Megan a photo. The world tilted. No, Megan whispered. No, that's impossible. On the screen was a familiar face, a face she had seen just hours ago, a face that had stopped in the rain and offered her a ride with fake concern dripping from every word. Chelsea Morgan. You know her. Megan couldn't breathe. We went to high school together. She stopped to talk to me tonight. On my way to the gas station, she offered me a ride. The room went very still. She was checking on you, Reeves said slowly. Making sure you were on schedule. Making sure you wouldn't interfere with the plan. What plan? Reeves and Stone exchanged a look. Miss Foster, we found a list on Chelsea Morgan's phone when we arrested her 20 minutes ago. Reeves's voice was careful now, gentle. It was a list of future targets, mothers with babies, vulnerable women who wouldn't be missed immediately. Megan's heart stopped. Your mother was on that list. What? Your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson. She has a 6-month-old son. You babysit him 3 nights a week. Megan thought of little Henry. His laugh, his chubby cheeks, the way he always reached for her when she walked in the door. They were going to take Henry. We believe Chelsea was setting up the operation, building a file on your mother's schedule, your schedule, waiting for the right moment. Megan's hands were shaking violently now. If I had gotten in that car with Chelsea tonight, you would have been out of the way. Reeves's voice was grim. And Victor would have had a clear path to Noah, then eventually to Henry. Megan bent over. She was going to be sick. Everything she thought she knew was a lie. Chelsea's bullying in high school, the fake friendliness today. All of it was part of a plan to steal babies. A plan that had failed because Megan said one word, no. Stone knelt in front of her. His big hands took hers. Listen to me. You didn't just save my son tonight. You stopped an operation that's been stealing children for years. You're not a victim, Megan. You're a hero." Megan looked up at him. Tears were streaming down her face. "I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I'm going to fall apart." "Then fall apart." Stone's voice was gentle. "Fall apart right here, right now. We'll catch you. That's what family does." "Family? Yeah." Stone squeezed her hands. "Family. You became one of us the moment you refused to let go of my son. And the iron wolves protect family." The door opened again. Megan's mother stood in the doorway. Her face was pale. Her eyes were wide. "Megan." "Mom." Diane Foster crossed the room in 3 steps and pulled her daughter into her arms. "Oh, my baby, my brave, stupid, wonderful baby." Megan broke. All the walls she had built, all the armor she had worn to survive. It cracked and fell away. She sobbed into her mother's shoulder, 3 years of grief and loneliness and fear pouring out of her, her father's death, the endless work, the crushing invisibility. All of it released in wrenching, gasping cries. Her mother held her tight. "I've got you, Mama's got you, you're safe now." Stone stood and quietly left the room, giving them privacy. But before he closed the door, he looked back at Megan. "When you're ready," he said softly, "there's something we need to discuss. About what happens next." The door clicked shut. Megan didn't know what next meant. But for the first time in years, she wasn't afraid to find out. Megan didn't know how long she cried. Minutes. Maybe hours. Time had stopped meaning anything. All she knew was her mother's arms around her, the smell of her perfume, the sound of her heartbeat. When the tears finally slowed, Megan pulled back. Her mother's face was wet too. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you." "Scare me," Diane's voice cracked. "Megan, I saw the news on my way here. They're calling you a hero. They're saying you fought off a kidnapper with your bare hands." "I didn't fight him. I didn't let go." Diane cupped her daughter's face, looked at the cut, now stitched closed, the bruises turning purple. "Your father would be so proud of you." Megan's chest tightened. "You think so? I know so." Diane's eyes filled with fresh tears. "He always said you were stronger than you knew, that you had courage you hadn't discovered yet." She smiled through her tears. He was right. The door opened. Stone stood there, his massive frame filling the doorway. "Sorry to interrupt, but there's something Megan needs to see." Megan looked at her mother. Diane nodded. "Go. I'll be right here." Megan stood. Her legs were shaky, but they held. She followed Stone out of the room. The main hall had transformed. Chairs had been arranged in a massive circle. Every seat was filled. More people stood along the walls, packed shoulder to shoulder. A path opened as Stone led Megan toward the center. Every eye followed her. "Is that her? That's the girl who saved Noah. Look at her face. She really fought him." "She's just a kid." Megan kept her eyes forward. Her heart was pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. Stone guided her to a chair at the center of the circle. He walked to a small platform and picked up a microphone. The room went silent. "Brothers and sisters," Stone's voice echoed through the space. "Tonight, we're here because of a miracle." He paused, let his eyes sweep the room. "This afternoon, my wife Tara was at Rusty's Gas and Go with our son Noah. A man tried to take him. A kidnapper. A monster who's been stealing children for over a decade." Angry murmurs rippled through the crowd. Stone raised his hand. Silence fell. He would have taken my boy. He would have disappeared with Noah, and we might never have seen him again. Stone's voice cracked. Just like those other families never saw their children again. He turned, looked directly at Megan. But that didn't happen. Because of this young woman, every eye in the room shifted to Megan. Megan Foster is 25 years old. She works at a pharmacy. She was walking home in the rain when she stopped at that gas station. He walked toward her as he spoke. She saw a mother struggling with a crying baby, and she offered to help. Stone stopped in front of Megan. When the kidnapper came for Noah, Megan could have handed him over. She could have saved herself. No one would have blamed her. His voice dropped. But she didn't. She said no. And when he cut her, she still didn't let go. When he hit her, she protected my son with her own body. She bled for him. She fought for him. Stone's voice rose. She screamed for help when he tried to silence her. She held on until Tara came back. She saved my son's life. The room erupted. Cheers, applause, shouts of approval. Stone let it continue for a moment, then raised his hand. I've been president of this chapter for 15 years. I've seen a lot of courage, a lot of loyalty. He paused. But I have never seen anything like what Megan Foster did today. He gestured to someone at the edge of the room. Elena stepped forward. In her hands was a black leather vest. Megan's breath caught. This is not a full member's vest, Stone said, taking the vest from his mother. We don't just give those out. You have to earn them. He turned to Megan. But this vest marks Megan as a protected friend of the Iron Wolves. It means she is under our protection. It means that anyone who threatens her threatens all of us. He held up the vest. On the back was a howling wolf with wings spread wide. Below it, words in silver thread, "Protected Megan." Stone's voice softened. Please stand. Megan stood. Her legs were trembling. Stone walked behind her and held up the vest. Megan slipped her arms through the holes. The leather settled on her shoulders. It was warm, heavier than she expected, but it felt like armor. Stone walked back to face her. He held out his hand. Welcome to the family. Megan shook his hand. The room exploded in cheers again. She looked out at the crowd. Hundreds of people on their feet applauding for her. The invisible girl from the pharmacy. The one nobody noticed. They saw her now. Her mother had pushed through the crowd. She was crying. Elena was crying. Tara stood at the edge of the circle holding Noah, tears streaming down her face. Megan felt something break open inside her chest. All the walls she had built. All the armor she had worn to survive. It cracked and fell away. She started to cry. Not quiet tears. Real sobs that shook her whole body. 25 years of being invisible. 25 years of being told she was nothing. All of it washing away in this room full of strangers who had become family. Her mother was at her side, instantly holding her. It's okay, baby. Let it out. It's okay. The crowd didn't look away. Didn't judge. Some of the hardest-looking men wiped their own eyes. When Megan finally caught her breath, Stone stepped forward again. There's one more thing. Megan looked up. As of tonight, Megan Foster's debts are paid. Megan blinked. What? Stone smiled. I made some calls. Your mother's medical bills, your rent, your student loans, all of it, paid in full. Megan's mother gasped. No, that's too much. We can't accept. You can and you will. Elena appeared beside them. You don't argue with the Iron Wolves, honey. But why? Megan's voice cracked. You don't even know us. Stone knelt in front of Megan, looked her in the eyes. Because you didn't know my family either. And you still put yourself between my son and a monster. He reached out and touched the vest on her shoulders. This is what family does. We take care of each other. Megan stared at him. Nobody had taken care of her family since her father died. They had been alone, struggling, drowning, and now strangers were throwing them a lifeline. Thank you. The words came out as a whisper. Thank you. Stone stood and nodded. Now, let's eat. My mother's been cooking all day. The tension broke. People started moving, talking, heading toward tables laden with food. Megan stayed where she was. Her mother held her hand. This is real, Diane said softly. This is actually happening. I know. Megan touched the leather vest on her shoulders. I can't believe it either. Tara approached them with Noah in her arms. The baby was awake now, looking around with curious eyes. He wants to see you, Tara said. Megan held out her arms. Tara placed Noah in them. The baby looked up at Megan's face, reached out and touched her bruised cheek with his tiny hand. Hey, little guy, Megan whispered. Remember me? Noah smiled, that same gummy, toothless smile from the gas station. He remembers, Tara said. He knows you saved him. Megan held him close, felt his warmth against her chest. This was why she had fought. This small, innocent life. This baby who had never hurt anyone, who deserved to grow up safe and loved. She would do it again. 100 times. 1,000 times. The celebration continued for 2 more hours. Megan met what felt like hundreds of people. Everyone wanted to shake her hand. Thank her. Tell her she was brave. It was overwhelming. But also wonderful. At 11 o'clock, Stone approached her. We need to talk, privately. Something in his voice made Megan's stomach tighten. What's wrong? Not here. Come with me. She followed him to a back office. Detective Reeves was already there, along with 2 men she didn't recognize. They wore suits. FBI badges hung from their necks. Sit down, Megan, Reeves said gently. She sat. Her heart was racing. What's going on? Reeves looked at Stone. Stone nodded. We've been interrogating Chelsea Morgan for the past 3 hours, Reeves said. She's talking, trying to cut a deal. A deal? She wants reduced charges in exchange for information about the trafficking network. Reeves paused. And she's given us something big. Megan's hands started shaking. What? One of the FBI agents stepped forward. Miss Foster, the network that Chelsea Morgan and Victor Marsh worked for, is bigger than we thought. Much bigger. How big? 12 spotters across 6 states, buyers in 8 countries, over 30 children taken in the past decade. Megan felt sick. But that's not why we're here, the agent continued. Chelsea gave us something else. A name. What name? The agent looked at Reeves, at Stone, then back at Megan. The man who runs the operation. The one at the top. The one who's been untouchable for 15 years. Megan waited. His name is Richard Hayes. The name meant nothing to Megan, but she saw Stone's face go white. No, Stone breathed. That's not possible. Who's Richard Hayes? Megan asked. Stone looked at her. His eyes were haunted. Richard Hayes is the mayor of this town. He's been mayor for 12 years. He gave a speech at my wedding. Stone's voice was barely a whisper. He held Noah when he was born. The room was silent. The mayor, Megan couldn't process it. The mayor is running a child trafficking ring. We don't have proof yet, Reeves said. Just Chelsea's word. But if she's telling the truth, she's telling the truth. One of the FBI agents pulled out a folder. We've been investigating Hayes for 2 years. Anonymous tips, suspicious financial transactions, but we could never get enough for a warrant. He opened the folder. Until tonight. Inside was a photograph, a blurry image from a security camera. Richard Hayes shaking hands with Victor Marsh. This was taken 3 weeks ago, at a private airfield outside of town. We didn't know what it meant, until Chelsea told us that Hayes personally approves every target. Megan's mind was spinning. The mayor, the man who cut ribbons and gave speeches and smiled for cameras, the man everyone trusted. He approved Noah. Yes. He approved Henry Mrs. Patterson's baby. Yes. Megan thought she might throw up. But that's not all, the agent said. Chelsea told us something else. Something that affects you directly. Megan looked up. What? The agent hesitated. Looked at Stone, at Reeves. Tell her, Stone said. She deserves to know. The agent nodded slowly. Miss Foster Chelsea Morgan didn't just randomly encounter you in high school. She was placed there. Hayes runs a program, identifies vulnerable families years in advance, plants spotters near them, builds relationships, watches, waits. Megan's blood went cold. Chelsea has been watching you for 10 years, since you were 15. 15! Megan's voice came out strangled. That's when my father died. Yes. The agent's voice was gentle. We believe your family was identified as a potential target around that time. A struggling military family. Father dead, mother sick, daughter isolated. But I don't have children. No. But you have access to children. You babysit. You work at a pharmacy where mothers come with babies. You're invisible. Forgettable. The agent paused. You're the perfect spotter. Or you would have been if they could turn you. Megan felt like the floor was falling away beneath her. They wanted to recruit me. Eventually, Chelsea was supposed to befriend you, gain your trust, bring you into the network. The agent shook his head. But you never let her in. You never trusted her. So they changed the plan. Changed it how? They decided to use you instead. Watch through you. Track the families you babysit, the mothers who come to your pharmacy. The agent's voice hardened. They've been watching you for years, Miss Foster. And you never knew. Megan couldn't breathe. 10 years. 10 years of being watched, of being studied, of being used without her knowledge. Every time she babysat Henry, every time she filled a prescription for a new mother, every time she walked to work, or took the bus, or stopped at the gas station. They were watching. Megan, Stone's voice cut through her panic. Megan, look at me. She looked up. They were watching you for 10 years, and in all that time they never saw what you really are. His eyes were fierce. They thought you were weak, invisible, easy to manipulate. But tonight you proved them wrong. You looked a monster in the eye, and you said no. Megan's hands were shaking. You're not a victim, Megan. You're the one who's going to bring them down. How? Stone looked at the FBI agents. They nodded. Chelsea is willing to testify against Hayes. But she's not enough. We need more. Stone leaned forward. We need you. Me. What can I do? Hayes doesn't know you survived the attack. He thinks Victor got away with Noah. He doesn't know we're onto him. Stone's voice dropped. But he knows you. He's been watching you for years. He trusts that you're invisible. Harmless. Megan understood. You want me to help you catch him? Only if you're willing. Only if you choose to. Stone's voice was serious. You've already done more than anyone could ask. You saved my son. You owe us nothing. Megan thought about Noah. About Henry. About the 30 children who had been stolen. About their families who would never see them again. She thought about her father. About his voice telling her she was stronger than she knew. She thought about 10 years of being watched. Used. Manipulated. And she thought about Chelsea Morgan. About the fake smile in the rain. The fake concern. The fake friendship. Something hardened inside her. "I'll do it." Stone studied her face. "You're sure he took 30 children? He tried to take Noah. He put my mother on a list." Megan's voice was steel. "I want to look him in the eye when you arrest him. I want him to know that the invisible girl he's been watching for 10 years is the one who destroyed him." Stone smiled. It was a fierce smile. A proud smile. "That's my girl." He turned to the FBI agents. "Set it up. Whatever she needs, she gets. Full protection. Full support." The agents nodded. "One more thing," Stone said. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. "It's me. Activate the network. Every chapter. Every state. We're going to war." He hung up. Megan looked at him. "What did you just do?" "Called in reinforcements." Stone's eyes were burning. "Hayes has money, power, connections, but we have something he doesn't." "What?" 800 bikers who would die to protect you." Stone put a hand on her shoulder. "And a whole lot more who are on their way." Megan looked at the vest on her shoulders, the howling wolf with spread wings. Protected. She wasn't invisible anymore, and Richard Hayes had no idea what was coming for him. Outside the clubhouse, the rumble of more motorcycles filled the night. They were coming. From every state, every chapter, every corner of the country, coming for Megan, coming for Noah, coming for every child who had ever been stolen, and God help anyone who stood in their way. 3 days passed, 3 days of planning, 3 days of phone calls and meetings and FBI agents coming and going at all hours, 3 days of Megan learning things about the world she wished she had never known. The trafficking network was bigger than anyone imagined. 32 children stolen over 12 years, sold to buyers in Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. Rich families who wanted babies and didn't ask questions. Some paid $500,000, some paid more. Megan read the files until she couldn't read anymore, until the faces of the missing children haunted her dreams. A 3-month-old girl from Texas. Gone. Twin boys from Florida. Gone. A 6-month-old from Michigan named Sophie. Taken from her crib while her mother slept in the next room. Gone. All of them gone. All of them sold. All of them lost. And Richard Hayes had approved every single one. On the 4th morning, Stone found Megan in the clubhouse kitchen. She was sitting alone, staring at a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. "You haven't slept," he said. "Neither of you." Stone sat across from her. His face was haggard, dark circles under his eyes. He had been coordinating with chapters across the country building an army. "The FBI wants to move tonight," he said. Megan looked up. "Tonight, Hayes is hosting a fundraiser at his mansion. Black tie, 300 guests, half the politicians in the state." Stone's jaw tightened. And according to Chelsea, he's scheduled a meeting afterward, with buyers. Buyers, 2 men flying in from overseas. They're shopping for merchandise. Megan's stomach turned. Children. They're shopping for children. The FBI intercepted communications. Hayes has 3 children lined up for sale. Stone paused. "They're being held at a location we don't know yet. If we don't find them before the sale..." They're gone forever. Yes. Megan's hands clenched into fists. What do you need me to do? Stone studied her face. You sure you're ready for this? I've been ready since he put Noah on that list. Stone nodded slowly. Hayes knows your face. Knows you work at Walton's pharmacy. But he doesn't know you survived the attack. Doesn't know you're connected to us. So we're going to use that. Stone leaned forward. One of our members owns a catering company. They're working the fundraiser tonight. We can get you inside. Inside the mayor's mansion, you'll be serving drinks, invisible, just like you've always been. Stone's voice was careful. But this time, you'll have something Chelsea gave us. A device that can clone Hayes's phone. Get within 3 feet of him, activate it, and we'll have access to everything. His contacts, his messages, the location of those children. Megan's heart was pounding. And if he recognizes me, he won't. You'll be in a uniform. Hair different, makeup covering your bruises. Stone paused. But if something goes wrong, we'll be right outside. Every iron wolf in the state will be surrounding that mansion. Megan thought about it. 3 children. 3 innocent lives hanging in the balance. I'll do it. Stone reached across the table and took her hand. You're braver than any soldier I ever served with. I'm just doing what needs to be done. That's exactly what bravery is. The next 8 hours were a blur of preparation. Jenny taught Megan how to use the cloning device, a small black box that fit in her palm. Get within 3 feet, press the button, hold for 10 seconds. Tara helped with her disguise. Different hairstyle, professional makeup that aged her 10 years and covered the healing cut on her cheek. A catering uniform that made her look like a completely different person. Megan barely recognized herself in the mirror. You look perfect, Tara said. Completely forgettable. Story of my life. Tara squeezed her shoulder. Not anymore. After tonight, everyone will know your name. At 6 o'clock, Megan climbed into a white catering van with 4 other servers. All of them iron wolves. All of them carrying concealed weapons. The driver was a man named Marcus, former Marine, Stone's second in command. Nervous, he asked. Terrified. Good. Terrified keeps you sharp. He glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Remember, get close to Hayes, clone his phone. Get out. Don't be a hero. I'm not a hero. Marcus smiled. Stone thinks differently. So does Noah. The mansion appeared ahead. Massive, white columns, circular driveway filled with expensive cars, guards everywhere. Megan's heart was pounding as they pulled up to the service entrance. A security guard approached the van. Catering. Marcus handed over paperwork. The guard scanned it, looked at the servers in the back. His eyes passed over Megan without stopping. Invisible. Just like always. You're clear. Service entrance around back. They drove through, inside the mansion chaos. Waiters rushing everywhere. Kitchen staff shouting orders. The clink of glasses and the murmur of hundreds of conversations. Megan grabbed a tray of champagne and walked into the main hall. 300 people in evening gowns and tuxedos. Politicians, businessmen, celebrities, all of them laughing and drinking and having no idea that the man they were celebrating was a monster. She scanned the crowd. There, by the fireplace, Richard Hayes. Tall, silver hair, perfect smile. The kind of face you'd see on a campaign poster. Trustworthy, friendly, safe. Everything about him was a lie. Megan moved through the crowd, offering champagne, smiling, invisible. She got within 20 feet of Hayes, then 15, then 10. He was talking to a woman in a red dress, laughing at something she said. 5 feet. Megan's hand slipped into her pocket. Found the cloning device. 3 feet. Champagne, sir? Hayes turned. Looked at her. Megan's blood froze. For a terrible moment she thought he recognized her. His eyes narrowed slightly. Studied her face. Then he smiled. Took a glass from her tray. Thank you, dear. Megan pressed the button. 1 second. 2. 3. Hayes turned back to the woman in red. 4. 5. 6. Megan's hand was sweating. 7. 8. 9. Excuse me. A voice behind her. Male. Sharp. 10. She pulled the device from her pocket and slipped it back into her uniform. Yes. A man in a dark suit was staring at her. Security. Earpiece visible. Hand near his hip. I need to see your ID. Megan's heart stopped. Of course, and she reached for this fake ID in her pocket, handed it over. The man studied it, looked at her face, back at the ID. You're new. First night. Megan kept her voice steady. They called me in last minute. The man's eyes narrowed. Behind him, she saw Marcus across the room. His hand had moved to his jacket. Ready. Please wait here, the security man said. I need to verify this. He turned and walked toward a side room. Marcus caught her eye. Tilted his head toward the door. Get out. Now. Megan set down her tray. Started walking. Not running. Walking. Calm. Normal. She was 10 feet from the service entrance when she heard it. Stop that woman! She ran. Burst through the door into the kitchen. Servers shouted. Pans clattered. Behind her footsteps. Multiple. Marcus appeared beside her. This way, go! They sprinted through the back corridor, out a service door, into the night. The white van was already moving. Sliding door open. Megan dove inside, Marcus behind her. The door slammed shut. The van accelerated. Behind them, guards poured out of the mansion, shouting, pointing. But they were already gone. Megan lay on the floor of the van, gasping for breath. Did you get it? Marcus demanded. Did you clone his phone? Megan pulled the device from her pocket. The small screen glowed green. I got it. Marcus grabbed a laptop, connected the device, typed furiously. Come on! Come on! Data streamed across the screen. Messages, contacts, emails. Oh my God, Marcus breathed. What? What is it? He turned the laptop toward her. A map. 3 dots blinking. That's them. The 3 children. That's where they're being held. Megan stared at the screen. An abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. 20 minutes away. We have to go, now. Marcus was already on the phone. Stone, we have the location. Sending coordinates now. He paused. Yes, she's fine. She's incredible. He hung up. Stone's mobilizing everyone. FBI is 5 minutes behind us. But the children, I know. Marcus's face was grim. That's why we're not waiting. The van changed direction, accelerating. 15 minutes later, they pulled up to the warehouse. Dark, quiet. No visible guards. But there were vehicles. 3 black SUVs parked near a loading dock. "Someone's here," Marcus said quietly. The rumble of motorcycles filled the air, dozens of them converging from every direction. Stone pulled up beside the van. His face was carved from granite. "What do we know? 3 children inside, at least 6 hostiles." Marcus checked his weapon. "FBI is 10 minutes out." "We can't wait 10 minutes." "I know." Stone looked at Megan. "You stay here." "No." "Megan, I started this. I'm finishing it." Her voice was steel. "Those children are in there because of a man who's been watching me for 10 years. I'm not hiding in a van while you save them." Stone studied her face. Then he nodded. "Stay behind me. Don't do anything stupid." "I already did something stupid. I said no to a kidnapper." Stone almost smiled. "Yeah, and thank God you did." They moved. 50 bikers, silent as shadows surrounding the warehouse, every exit covered. Stone kicked in the front door. Chaos. Men scrambling for weapons. Shouts. Gunfire. Megan stayed low. Her ears were ringing. Her heart was pounding so hard she could feel it in her teeth. Stone moved like a force of nature. Precise. Deadly. Years of military training in every movement. 3 men down in the first room. "Clear move." They pushed deeper into the warehouse. A door. Locked. Megan could hear crying behind it. Children crying. Stone shot the lock, kicked the door open. 3 cribs, 3 babies. All of them screaming. And standing over them, a gun raised, was Victor Marsh. Megan's blood turned to ice. His face was bruised from Tara's chain. His eyes were even emptier than before. "Don't move." His voice was calm. Too calm. "Don't move or I start shooting." Everyone froze. Victor's gun was pointed at the middle crib. A baby girl, maybe 4 months old, screaming at the top of her lungs. "Put your weapons down. All of you." Stone's jaw tightened. "You're surrounded. There's no way out." "I don't need a way out." Victor smiled, that horrible, empty smile. "I just need leverage." His finger tightened on the trigger. "Wait." Megan stepped forward. "Megan, no." Stone grabbed for her, but she was already moving, walking toward Victor. Hands raised. "You remember me," she said quietly. "The girl from the gas station. The one who wouldn't give you Noah." Victor's eyes flickered. Recognition. "You." His lip curled. "You cost me everything." "I know." Megan kept walking. Slowly. "And I'm sorry. You're sorry. I'm sorry you had such an empty life that stealing children seemed like a good idea." Her voice was steady. "I'm sorry nobody ever loved you enough to show you what family really means." Victor stared at her. "What the hell are you doing? I'm giving you a choice." She stopped 3 feet from him. "You can shoot that baby, and then these men will kill you, and you'll die knowing that you destroyed one more innocent life for nothing." She took another step. "Or you can put the gun down, and I'll make sure you get a fair trial. And maybe somewhere down the line you'll find whatever it is you've been looking for." Victor's hand was shaking now. "You don't know anything about me." "I know you weren't born a monster." Megan's voice cracked. "Nobody is. Something made you this way. Something broke you. And I'm sorry for that too." Tears were streaming down Victor's face. "They'll kill me anyway. Hayes will have me killed in prison." "Hayes is going to prison tonight." Megan took one more step. "His phone is cloned. We have everything. Every message, every transaction, every crime. He's done." Victor's gun hand dropped an inch. "It's over," Megan whispered. "You don't have to hurt anyone else. Just put the gun down." For a long, terrible moment, nothing happened. Then Victor's shoulders slumped. The gun clattered to the floor. Stone was on him instantly, pinning him down, cuffs clicking into place. But Megan wasn't watching. She was moving to the cribs, picking up the screaming baby girl, holding her close. "It's okay." Megan's voice broke. "You're safe now. You're safe." The baby's cries slowly quieted. Her tiny fingers gripped Megan's shirt. Just like Noah. The FBI arrived 7 minutes later. Hayes was arrested at his mansion, still in his tuxedo, still surrounded by 300 guests. The footage went viral within hours, the mayor being led away in handcuffs while his supporters watched in shock. Chelsea Morgan's testimony, combined with the cloned phone data, was enough for multiple federal indictments. Hayes, Victor, and 15 others were charged with trafficking, kidnapping, and conspiracy. The 3 children from the warehouse were identified within hours. Their families were contacted. The reunions happened the next morning. Megan watched from a distance as parents held their babies for the first time in weeks, months. One mother collapsed to her knees, couldn't stop screaming her daughter's name. One father just stood there crying silently, holding his son like he would never let go again. The third family, young parents barely older than Megan, both fell apart completely. They held their twins and sobbed until they couldn't breathe. Stone found Megan standing alone, tears streaming down her face. "You did this," he said quietly. "You brought them home." "It's not enough." Megan's voice was hollow. "There are still 29 others out there, 29 children who were never found." Stone was quiet for a moment. "Then we find them." Megan looked at him. "How? Hayes' phone has 15 years of data. Contacts, locations, buyers." Stone's eyes were fierce. "We've got the roadmap. Now we follow it." The FBI has their hands full with Hayes, and they're bound by jurisdictions, laws, borders. Stone paused. "We're not." Megan understood what he was saying. "You want to go after the others. I want to bring every stolen child home." Stone put a hand on her shoulder. "And I want you to help me do it." Megan looked at the families, at the babies in their parents' arms. She thought about Sophie, the 6-month-old taken from Michigan, the one who would be 5 years old now. She thought about all the parents still waiting, still hoping, still dying inside every single day. "Yes," she said. "I'm in." Stone smiled. It was a fierce, proud smile. "Then let's get to work." Megan looked up at the sky. The sun was rising. A new day. A new beginning. And 29 children were waiting to come home. 6 months had passed since the night Megan Foster said no to a monster in a gas station. 6 months since her life split in two, before and after, invisible and seen. The Foster Foundation had grown beyond anything Megan imagined. She had named it after her father. The man who taught her that courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about being afraid and fighting anyway. They had recovered 14 missing children, 14 families made whole again, 14 miracles that started with one word. But today wasn't about the foundation. Today was about Noah's first birthday. Megan pulled up to Stone and Tara's house on her motorcycle, a gift from the club on her 26th birthday. Elena had taught her to ride 4 months ago. "You're not a real friend of the Iron Wolves until you can ride," Elena had said. "Now get on that bike and stop being scared." Megan wasn't scared anymore. Not of motorcycles. Not of much of anything. She grabbed the wrapped present from her saddlebag and walked toward the front door. It burst open before she reached it. "Megan, Lily." Noah's 3-year-old cousin came running down the steps. You came! Megan caught her and swung her around. "Of course I came. I promised, didn't I? Mama said you might be busy saving babies." "I'm never too busy for Noah's birthday." Lily grabbed her hand and dragged her inside. The house was packed. Bikers everywhere, kids running between legs, the smell of barbecue and birthday cake. Tara appeared from the kitchen, Noah on her hip. He was walking now. 14 months old and into everything. "Megan." Tara's face lit up. She pulled her into a one-armed hug. "I'm so glad you could make it. Wouldn't miss it for the world." Noah saw Megan. His whole face changed. He reached out with grabby hands bouncing in his mother's arms. Meg. Megan's heart melted. He had learned her name 3 months ago. It was one of his first words. She took him from Tara. He immediately grabbed a fistful of her hair and laughed. "Still doing that, huh?" "He only does it to people he loves," Tara said. Megan held him close, breathed in his baby shampoo smell, felt his warmth against her chest. This child she had saved. This child who had saved her right back. Stone walked over, wiping his hands on an apron, pink fabric covered in cartoon unicorns. "Nice apron," Megan said. Lily picked it out. "It suits you," Stone grinned. "Watch it, Foster. I can still take you." Megan laughed. She had changed so much in 6 months. She could joke with the president of the Iron Wolves like he was family, because he was. The party was loud and chaotic and wonderful. Megan sat with Elena and watched the children play. "You look happy," Elena observed. "I am happy." "Good. It's a good look on you." Elena squeezed her hand. "Your father would be proud." Megan's chest tightened. "You think so?" "I know so." Elena's eyes were fierce. "You've done more in 6 months than most people do in a lifetime. 14 children home, 14 families healed, and you're just getting started." Megan watched Noah toddle across the yard chasing a ball that was almost as big as he was. "There are still 15 more out there. 15 children we haven't found. And you will find them." Elena's voice was certain. "One at a time. One family at a time." The party continued. Cake was cut. Presents were opened. Noah smashed frosting into his hair and laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. At 7 o'clock, Megan's phone buzzed. Detective Reeves. Her stomach tightened. Reeves only called when something important happened. She stepped away from the crowd and answered. "Reeves, what's going on?" "We found her." Megan's heart stopped. "Found who?" "Sophie Mitchell, the 6-month-old taken from Michigan 5 years ago." Megan couldn't breathe. Sophie, the first name on her list. The child she had been searching for since day one. Where? Dubai. Living with a wealthy family who bought her through Hayes' network. Reeves paused. "She's alive, Megan. She's healthy. She doesn't remember anything, of course. She was so young when she was taken." Megan's eyes filled with tears. "Can we get her back?" "It's complicated. International jurisdiction, diplomatic channels." Reeves exhaled. "But we have enough evidence to prove she was stolen. The State Department is involved. It's going to take time, but yes, we can get her back. Her parents, I'm calling them next." Megan closed her eyes. Thought about Rachel and David Mitchell, the parents who had never stopped searching, who had appeared on every news show, begged every politician, spent every penny trying to find their daughter. 5 years of hoping. 5 years of dying inside every single day. And now it was almost over. Thank you, Reeves. Don't thank me. Thank yourself. His voice was thick. None of this would exist without you. He hung up. Megan stood there for a long moment, phone in hand, tears streaming down her face. 15 children found. 15 more still out there. But today 1 more was coming home. Stone found her on the back porch. Reeves called. Megan nodded. They found Sophie Mitchell. Stone's face transformed. Joy. Pure, unfiltered joy. Dubai. Yeah, it's going to take time to bring her back. But she's alive. She's safe. Stone pulled her into a hug, held her tight. You did this. You brought her home. A lot of people brought her home. But you started it. He pulled back, looked at her with fierce pride. You said no to a monster in a gas station, and everything changed. 3 weeks later, Megan stood at Detroit Metro Airport. Gate 17. The Mitchell family was there. Rachel and David, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everyone who had been waiting 5 years for this moment. A plane had landed 30 minutes ago. Diplomatic escorts, child welfare officers, and one little girl who had been stolen as a baby and was finally coming home. Rachel Mitchell hadn't moved since they arrived. She stood like a statue clutching a photograph of Sophie as a baby, the last picture ever taken before she disappeared. David held his wife's hand. His face was pale. His eyes were red. 5 years of hoping. 5 years of praying. 5 years of not knowing if their daughter was alive or dead. And now she was walking through those doors. The security checkpoint opened. A woman in a blue suit appeared first. State Department official. Behind her 2 child welfare officers. And between them holding one of their hands was a little girl, 5 years old now. Blonde hair, blue eyes, wearing a pink dress that someone had bought her for the occasion. Sophie Mitchell. Rachel made a sound. Half sob, half scream. She fell to her knees. Sophie looked around, confused, scared. This was all new, all strange. The only parents she remembered were thousands of miles away. But then she saw Rachel's face, saw the photograph clutched in her mother's hands. Something flickered in Sophie's eyes. Recognition memory. Or something deeper, something that had been waiting in her heart for 5 years. She walked toward Rachel. Slowly, carefully, stopped in front of her. Mama. The word was uncertain, questioning, but it was enough. Rachel pulled her daughter into her arms, held her so tight that Sophie squeaked. Yes, baby. Rachel was sobbing. Mama's here. Mama's got you. Mama's never letting go again. David fell to his knees beside them, wrapped his arms around his wife and daughter. Our baby. His voice was broken. Our little girl. Sophie looked confused, but she wasn't pulling away, wasn't crying. Something in her recognized these people. Something in her knew. The whole family surrounded them. Grandparents crying, aunts and uncles crying, strangers in the airport crying. Megan watched from across the terminal. Tears streamed down her face. 16 children now. 16 families. 16 miracles. But it still wasn't enough. Would never be enough. Not until every stolen child was home. Her phone buzzed. Text from Detective Reeves. New lead, 2 siblings in Ukraine. When can you fly out? Megan looked at Sophie and Rachel, at the joy, the healing, the love that had survived 5 years of separation. She typed back, "Book the flight. I'm ready." 2 months later, Megan stood at the Iron Wolves clubhouse. The main hall was packed. Every chapter, every member, hundreds of bikers who had become family. Stone stood on the platform, microphone in hand. 8 months ago, we welcomed Megan Foster as a protected friend of the Iron Wolves. She had saved my son from a kidnapper, put herself between my boy and a monster. The crowd was silent, listening. Since then, Megan has done something remarkable. She started a foundation. She's found 18 missing children. She's reunited 18 families. She's brought hope to people who had none. Murmurs of approval rippled through the crowd. Today, I'm here to tell you that Megan Foster is no longer a protected friend. Megan's heart stopped. Stone reached into his vest, pulled out a new patch. She's one of us. Full member. The first woman to earn full membership in this chapter who wasn't born into the club. The crowd erupted. Stone walked toward Megan, held up the patch, a howling wolf with spread wings. Below it, words in silver thread. Angel Founding Protector. He pressed it against her chest. Welcome to the family, for real this time. Megan couldn't speak. Tears poured down her face. One by one, members came forward, shook her hand, hugged her, welcomed her. Her mother was there. Crying, Elena was crying. Tara and Stone and Noah, who was clapping his tiny hands even though he didn't understand what was happening. This was family, not blood, not obligation, choice. This was what it meant to belong. After the ceremony, Megan stepped outside. Needed air, needed to process. The night was clear. Stars everywhere. The rumble of motorcycles in the distance. Her phone buzzed. Another text from Reeves. Found the siblings in Ukraine. They're safe. Flying home tomorrow. 20 children now. Megan looked up at the stars. She thought about her father, about his voice telling her she was stronger than she knew. She thought about that moment in the gas station, the knife at her throat, Victor's empty eyes, Noah's tiny fingers gripping her shirt. She thought about all the children still missing, all the families still waiting. The door opened behind her. Stone walked out. You okay? Yeah. Megan's voice was thick. Just thinking. About how one word changed everything. When Stone stood beside her. Looked up at the same stars. No. Yeah. Megan smiled through her tears. One word, 2 letters. And my whole life is different. That's how it works sometimes. Stone's voice was quiet. The biggest changes come from the smallest choices. A moment of courage. A decision to fight. A refusal to give up. Megan thought about that. There are still 12 children out there. 12 families waiting. I know. I'm going to find them. Every single one. I know that too. Megan looked at him. How do you know? Stone smiled. It was a fierce smile. A proud smile. Because I know you, Megan Foster. You're the girl who said no to a monster. The girl who held on when anyone else would have let go. He put a hand on her shoulder. You're not going to stop until every stolen child is home. No, Megan said quietly. I'm not. They stood there together, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, 12 children were waiting. 12 families were hoping. 12 miracles were waiting to happen. And Megan Foster, the invisible girl who had learned to say no, was just getting started. Because courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about being terrified and fighting anyway. It was about holding on when everyone else let go. It was about believing that one person could make a difference. And it was about knowing deep in your bones that some things were worth bleeding for. Megan had learned that lesson in a gas station on Highway 33. She would spend the rest of her life proving it true. One child at a time, one family at a time, one miracle at a time, until every lost child was found, until every broken family was whole, until the world understood what she had always known, that the invisible ones are often the strongest, that the forgotten ones are often the bravest, and that love, real love, never lets go.